Hey, this is Paula from Afford Anything, and we're about to hear from Margaret, who's wondering if she should take out a 401k loan in order to fund the down payment on her next rental property. I'm answering this question alongside my buddy, former financial planner, Joe Saul-Sehy. Here's Margaret's question.
Hi, Paula and Joe. My name is Margaret, and I have a question about optimizing my pre-tax retirement savings versus saving in cash for a down payment. My husband and I currently house hack a 4-unit in Chicago that we bought in early 2021. The building had a lot of deferred maintenance and renovations needed, which we covered with a combination of savings and cash flow from my W-2. Because we were spending so much on the property, for most of this year I've only contributed 6% to my 401k to get my full match, which is only about 10 grand, so it's well below the maximum contribution limit. We've stabilized the building now and are thinking about our next purchase. I have around $40,000 in a high yield savings, but I'm thinking I will need closer to 60, depending on the target property and the area that we're looking in. We currently save around $4 grand a month after my 401k contributions. I've been looking at my 401k plan rules, and it allows me to take a $50,000 loan. My question is, since I'm in a high tax bracket, our combined income for 2022 is likely to come close to $200,000. Is it a better idea to max out my 401k by the end of the year to shelter some of that money from taxes and then use a 401k loan if needed to supplement our down payment funds? Would we be better off taking a larger loan from the 401k for a down payment and keeping more in cash reserves? Whatever we buy next is likely going to need renovations as well. Any loan I take from the 401k, we would look to pay down as quickly as possible, and it does not appear that I lose the ability to contribute while the loan is active, although I would definitely double check that before pulling a loan from the 401k. Thanks for taking my question. I really appreciate you and look forward to hearing your perspective. Thanks.
Margaret, thanks for that question. And it's funny, behind the scenes, Paula goes, I know you have strong feelings about 401k loans. Yes, I do, Paula. Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. All right, Joe, let her rip.
Well, here's the problem is that when you're dealing with just your personal financial situation, it seems like a great idea. But when you see the law of larger numbers, when I was working with maybe 150 families at a time, it always seemed like the worst thing happened at the wrong time and it derailed everything. And I think any strategy involving a 401k loan that you're going to repay in the future, the chance that that might just unwind everything versus just going the straightforward way and just working on the house separate from the 401k and not commingling those two. It seems like a great idea, Margaret. Like everything I heard, as long as everything goes right, is fine. But things don't go right so often, Paula. And I feel like when we need things to go exactly the way we need them to go for a strategy to work, that's when I don't like. So here's some of the things that could go wrong, Margaret. Number one is you lose your job. If you lose your job and you have a huge 401k loan out, you may have to repay that 401k loan now or in a very short amount of time, or you're going to get the 10% penalty plus pay all the taxes if you earned it today as income this year. That could be incredibly ugly. Second thing that could happen, something else could happen in your personal life where you're not able to repay that and make the contributions the way that you think that you will be able to. If that happens, now we have to decide between future contributions and repaying the loan, which means we get further behind on our financial independence goal as it relates to the 401k. Maybe the house, maybe the properties are also a piece of that puzzle in a different way. I mean, I'm not sure what you're using every dollar for, but man, I just do not like the idea of 401k loans. Now, there's a few other general reasons that you can find on every website out there about why 401k loans are just not great. But I think specific, Margaret, to yours, I would just do it the clean way. I would keep it clean. I have your real estate over here, and I would have your 401k over here. I'd have a strategy in how you're going to save into your 401k. I'd have a strategy with the houses and leave them separate.
So, Joe, what I hear you saying is it's a question between simplifying versus optimizing.
Absolutely.
By virtue.
Yes. Yes. Am I supposed to snap? Like, do I?
By virtue of compartmentalizing the 401k and the real estate, she's simplifying. While there is a way that she could optimize, it would add an additional layer of complexity. And that layer of complexity poses a new set of risks, and the benefits aren't worth the risks. The two themes I'm hearing, one is simplifying versus optimizing. The other is fragility versus resilience. The more complex plan is also highly fragile because it depends on everything to go exactly right.
Man, more.
The more resilient plan is the one that is compartmentalized and simple.
And I love the undertone, Paula, of what you're saying, which is, Margaret, the way you explained it to us could work. It could work. But it's like the end of the first Star Wars movie. And Paula has no idea what I'm talking about here.
No idea.
At the end, they have to drop this bomb in the Death Star. And it's a 1 in a bajillion chance that it's going to go right. Now, Margaret's plan has much better odds of working than a 1 in bajillion. But there's so much complexity. There's so many things going on, and it has to work right the way that it does. I got to remember to repay the loan. I can't lose my job. I got to have, nope. We love to do that, Paula, as money nerds. I mean, we do. We love to optimize and optimize and optimize. And I would run into two totally different groups of people when I was a planner. Group number one were people that rarely thought about their money and needed to get on board and think about it more often. Group number two were over-optimizers, overthinkers who we had to back it down and make sure that they had the flexibility to be able to roll with the things that come up in life. Because we really have two choices. We can either set things up that something might go not according to plan, or just make sure that everything always goes according to plan. And we know the dishwasher is going to break down. We know that every day we have these new things that come up. So I would just plan for flexibility.
I'm going to also drop into the show notes an article that I wrote about simplifying versus optimizing, because thematically that applies to so many money conversations. On one side, you've got the penny pinchers who are like, oh, well, if you stack this manufacturer's coupon on top of a store coupon, and then you use the app to scan your receipts and you enter the barcode into a reward system, like, I figured out a way to get this jar of spaghetti sauce for a penny, right? But
it takes me 4 hours.
Right. And it's so complicated. And then on the investing side, you've got the people who are obsessing over 874 different investment funds. And how do you compare their last 10 years of returns to their expense ratio, to their and they drive themselves nuts comparing funds. And Margaret, I'm not suggesting that you're doing this. In fact, what you're doing is the opposite. You've picked one thing. You have a 4-unit in Chicago that you're house hacking. You've had it for over 2 years, right? So you've had one project and you focused on that one project for 2 years. And now you're ready to take on a second property. So you've done a great job of simplifying in the way that you approach your rental property investments, which is one property at a time, do it till it's done, be okay with the fact that that could take 2 years, and then when you're ready, then and then only move on to the next. That's that slow and steady wins the race. So I think you've done a great job of simplifying and focusing in the way that you approach real estate investing. And I agree with Joe. I'd encourage you to maintain that same mindset as you think about the compartmentalization between building your 401k portfolio and building your real estate portfolio. Because the other piece of it is, between working a full-time job and finding the next house hack bidding on it, buying it, renovating it, you're going to have your hands full balancing your full-time job with your rental property side hustle. So the more you can simplify around the edges, the better. Hope you enjoyed that discussion. Hope you learned something from it. I hope it benefits you. I hope you take action. And I also really hope you leave a comment because I would like to know something from you. We're trying something new here on YouTube where we used to run the full Ask Paula episode, an entire 1 hour, sometimes longer than an hour episode. We'd run the full thing on YouTube. We're trying something new where we're breaking up the episode into each constituent question and uploading a separate video for every question. So do you like it better this way? Did you like it better in the past when we did it as one big go? Which do you prefer? The question breakouts or the full episode? If you are a longtime viewer listener, I would love to know what you think of this change. So please drop a comment below. Let us know. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being part of the Afford Anything community. Make sure that you're subscribed to this channel and I will catch you in one of our other questions. See you there.